We are back with a video that I haven't done in a while, and that's talking about being an art student. Because I'm no longer an art student, I've finished. I am done. I'm actually graduating tomorrow.
With distinction.
Because some of you guys have been with me since the beginning of my art school journey, I thought it would be fitting to come back towards the end. At the start of my YouTube channel until now, I have made a lot of content talking about my experience as an art student because I was studying fine art in a public university. I started in 2020 and then I finished last year, 2023, in a 4-year program. And tomorrow is my graduation. Because I'm feeling so nostalgic of all of the years I have spent as an art kid professionally, I wanted to talk about 10 different things I would do differently should I do art school all over again. I'm an alumni right now. That's crazy. I feel so old. Everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rumbo, yay! And for those who don't know me already, I'm an artist and former art student, and I make videos just about that. So if that interests you, you might want to hit the subscribe button down below. I'm done. I'm no longer an art student. One of my first videos that went I don't want to say viral, got like a good amount of views, was in my first year when I made a video saying that I regretted taking fine art. And since then, every year I had revisited that idea and talked about how I didn't regret it anymore or my experiences throughout the year. Now that I am approaching my graduation date, which is tomorrow as of recording, in this video I'm going to be talking about 10 different things I would have done differently should I start art school all over again. But before we get on to that, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're notified when next I upload a video. We are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing thus far, but if you haven't already, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe and share this with all of your friends, please, and thank you. I have a playlist on my channel with all of my videos that I've made throughout the year based on my fine art experience. Some of them are a lot more specific, some are vague. So if you want to see my daily life or some things that I vent about, then feel free to go to that playlist. It's on my channel, but I might just link it in the description down below. So the first thing I would have done differently should I do art school all over again is to befriend all my lecturers and shadow them and to see what other careers or other things they do aside from being a lecturer. I think all of my lecturers were an artist at one point in their lives, or still are. Most of them still are practicing artists. So they are living, breathing examples of a career path that at the beginning of my art school journey, I would have been interested in pursuing. Towards the end of my experience, I did befriend a couple of my lecturers and I was able to see what else they do aside from lecturing, how they are involved in the art industry, especially in South Africa. And that exposed me to see how many different positions in the art world there is for me, and that there are possibilities outside of school, that you're not just automatically going to be left without some sort of direction. Because going into art school, let me tell you, I'm going to be so for real, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I have been an art kid my entire life. I've always loved drawing and stuff. I've always wanted to be an artist. In terms of studying and a real job, I didn't know what I truly wanted to study. So taking fine arts was just a last ditch effort, which is very risky. I'm not encouraging that. To study art, you have to be passionate about it. You have to be very, very certain this is the path you want to pursue. I'm lucky that it turned out well, I guess, in my experience. When you're in university, you're all equals, you're all adults. Well, we're not really equals. You have to respect, obviously. You're all adults there. So your lecturers hopefully will be as approachable as mine were, because you'll be working more and more one-on-one with each other as you go through art school, especially with your supervisors. It is more easier to ask them about, what stuff they did when they got out of school, or what they do now, and forming connections like that. I think I would have done that a lot more, especially now that I am outside of school and I realized that I didn't learn as much as I would like to about the options I had. The next thing I would have done differently is to research any other job opportunity related skills and develop them so that it could diversify my career pool. With art school, although there are so many different paths that you can explore with an art degree, I think the key with that is that you do have to have other skills alongside with what you generate at art school. Art school is a lot based around studio practice and then like critical theory, just to give yourself a bit more cushioning to explore your options career-wise after school. So whether it be going into marketing and design or even UI and UX, business skills or financial skills, economic, I don't know, or anything that you feel like might pair well with a creative degree so that you can expand your options. Even if it's not something you enjoy, it's just so that you have like a backing. Because, you know, like we live in a society, and as much as we want to romanticize not having to, you know, feed into capitalism, we live in it. You have to find a way to like survive after school to make sure that like you have enough experience to get your foot into more doors than one. In my art school experience, I did learn a couple of other skills. One of these things is video editing, photo editing, Photoshop, using all of these digital softwares. I have to thank my YouTube channel for that. Because of how much work I have done on this channel, it has opened me up to a lot more job opportunities and experiences. I've also done a program on user interface and user design. I would actually like to explore that more. I think aside from it just making my CV more appealing to different audiences, it has also explored me to different ways I can use my creativity should I not only want to rely on pure visual art. I did that without realizing that I did, especially with digital software and marketing, social media, and all of that kind of stuff, has made me more comfortable in trying to look for other career opportunities, should I want to. The next thing I would have done differently is to use my studio space to the fullest. In my art school, in my 3rd and 4th year, we were allocated our own studios. In 1st and 2nd year, we had a studio for the entire group. I didn't understand the privilege I had until now. I mean, I really did, but I just didn't care about it. The location of my university, I don't really like. So I didn't enjoy being on campus longer than I want or I needed to be. I just preferred to be at home because of the commute. Having like a big space where you can be messy, you can do art as big as you want to, as small as you want to. You have facilities with resources and stuff that you can just like pop down in and out with, as well as a community of other artists around your age or around your vibe. I don't know. It's such like a huge privilege to have. Now that my studio has become my bedroom, I have a lot more restrictions. It's not like I can oil paint in here because it's poor ventilation. It's not like I can, you know, build a desk or build a freaking gigantic wooden sculpture, you know? Should you go to art school, abuse your time in the studio. Some of my friends would sleep in their studios and stuff like that. I don't know if I'd go as far. I feel like if my school was in a better location, I would have. I just wasn't comfortable. Of course, it's not free because you're paying school fees, but having access to that kind of space, it's a privilege, man. And like renting space is expensive, you know? Just like everything is expensive. So abuse your studio space, use it to the fullest, use it as much as you need to. Treat it as your home. Decorate it if you want to, if it makes you feel more at home. The next thing I would have done differently, similar to the studio space, is to abuse the resources given at your art school. Depending on how well funded and how well run your art school is, you'll have access to a lot of resources. I'm tempted to say free, but it's not free because you're paying school fees or your scholarship is covering your school fees. If there's a resource and you're allowed to take it, take it. If there is some new medium you've never done before and it's there, take it, use it, try it. This is a time when you can just do whatever you want. Resources, materials are so expensive. If there is resources or facilities that you know you won't have once you leave, like a printmaking studio or like a workshop, use it, like abuse it to the fullest. One of my regrets is not doing as much printmaking. I just accepted and came to terms with the fact that I hated it. Now I regret because it's not like I can create my own printmaking studio in my room. I need you to look at your fee statement. Look how much you are paying for this degree and think about whether you're getting your money's worth. If that answer is no, be greedy. The next thing I would have done differently had I started all over again to research postgraduate ideas and prospects, like potential paths to pursue. I would have researched that more intentionally earlier on. This is something that obviously I'm dealing with now because I am postgraduate, now because I'm facing a crossroads on thinking about what I want to do next. next. And whether it's to continue on the art path, the different places I can find a spot in or find opportunities in, especially with art being a world where you definitely need to rely on networks and connections. I mean, that's the case for like majority of fields, but art is like more NB, especially in a niche industry like the one in South Africa. Aside from that, even if it's like, should I do postgraduate? What do I want to research? Should I want to do a different kind of qualification to complement my degree? What is it going to be? Should I have done this all over again? Like earlier on, I would have thought about my next steps. Not even if it was an in-depth, but knowing what's next. If you're enjoying so far, make sure to like. Stay tuned to the end of this video because I will link my playlist of all of my fine art experience type videos. The next thing I would have done differently is to collab with other artists. In the studio and in your group, you are paired with a bunch of other artists like yourself, and they're all at a similar point in life as you, so it's so much cooler to befriend them and interact with them. But I never collaborated with any other person in my group or like in the whole school, and I'm kind of regretting that because I saw like some people collaborating with each other and how cool it looked, and I think that's like an interesting opportunity to see two different mindsets and two different worlds collide and make something cooler. It's also something nice to add to your portfolio, and it's just like a whole nice, I'm using nice and cool too many times. I think that's an experience that everybody should have, and I'm regretting that I didn't do it. But like, unfortunately, I'm shy and I just wanted to be home most of the time. So I didn't take the first step to reach out to people and be like, hey, let's do something together. I do regret that. As much as I don't want to regret anything, I wish I was bolder. The next thing I would have done differently had I started all over again is to not feel insecure of what I study. I find myself doing this so many times nowadays. If I meet someone new and they're like, oh, what did you study? And then I say, I did fine arts, but I never say it so confidently. I feel annoyed with myself because it shouldn't be anything that I'm ashamed of. I'm getting a bachelor's degree. I'm qualified now. I catch myself invalidating what I studied, dumbing it down so that it seems like it wasn't something significant. When no, it was. I spent 4 years of my life going through so many like vigorous training and classes and essays and all of these different kinds of things to be qualified. So this is mainly to me, but like if you are studying art or if you are pursuing like a creative field, don't be ashamed of it. Yes, it is less sustainable in the sense that you do have to hustle harder to get opportunities and to have like a sustainable career path. But if it's what you want to do, or if it's where you're meant to be, own it. And I need to do that. I need to stop dumbing it down. We're loud and proud. If you're an art kid, you're an art kid at the end of the day. That's who you're meant to be. The next thing I would have done differently is to go to more art events and to apply more to different opportunities. There are lots of opportunities to be in galleries or to be in different programs for students, art students specifically. I did a couple of them, but I would have been a lot more active. Apply to get experience, because I think at such a young age, experience is the most important thing to grow, but also to form and deepen connections. I did a couple of programs throughout my schooling career. I did program remotely with other people based in London and Zimbabwe, which was enjoyable. I want to say that, but it was also very insightful, especially during COVID. I also did like student exhibitions, opened me up to the potential I have to pursue art, but also just like getting experience. Even if you don't study arts, just like pushing for experiences and stuff like that, I would have done even more so. The worst thing that could happen to applying somewhere is they say no. The second last thing I would have done differently is I would have saved more money. This is not art specific. This is related to any student. Saving, being financially savvy, crucial. Listen, we live in a society, inflation just keeps getting higher and higher and everything's getting more expensive. To get into the habit of saving is very important. When you leave university, when you leave school, every single thing, every single fee is gonna fly at you like nobody's business. Whether you're moving into your own space, then that's rent, utilities, blah, 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 taxes, art materials and stuff. Everything costs money. Having a good cushion to fall onto once you leave that space so that you have like a good transition period where you're not struggling paycheck to paycheck or not struggling cent by cent, or you get into a more comfortable situation, whether it's finding a job or, finding support in what kind of way. Even from first year, I think you should be saving so that your future is a bit more comfortable. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out at all or you shouldn't whatever, but be smart and make sure that your savings is not zero by the time you graduate. Yeah, and then the last thing I would have done differently had I started art all over again is that I would have put more effort into my art. The thing is, I'm proud of what I've done at my school and I'm proud of the recognition it got. I was really proud of what I did and the magnitude that I did it at, but I do know there were some times where I compromised what I could have made because it was easier or it saved more time or it meant that I didn't have to stay at school till late. And I think I just robbed myself of the opportunity to develop a lot more different skills. So for example, instead of building something from scratch, I would have bought it at the shop. Doing something more easily instead of learning a different skill, if that makes sense. At my art school, we had access to printmaking studios, sculptural studios, photography studios, woodworking workshops, all these different facilities. And as much as I used some of them more than others, I wish I took the time to learn skills in all of them. My art deserved it. My art deserved the effort that I sometimes didn't give it. As much as I don't want to say I regret that, I do regret the amount of times I cut corners. Just like an ending thought, if you are going to go into art school, I think just making sure that you are enjoying it. At this time, the main thing is that you are a student. And for us, practical stuff like creating art, that is our studying. So if you're not putting the work into that, that means you're not studying and that means you're not doing what you should be doing in this opportunity. Now is the time to fully fall into what you love and to find out what you like, what you don't like, what you want to be as an artist. So not taking that time for granted, I think, is the best thing. It's like a privilege. As much as we're paying for it, it is a privilege to be in that kind of spot. Pursue it. And then you'll be like me 4 years later, graduating. I feel like I have rambled long enough. Let me know if you are going to art school, if you're thinking about it, or if you're already in art school and how it's going. If you have been with me since the beginning, thank you so much. And now we're here. I can safely say I did not regret art school. I'm at a weird spot right now, which I think a lot of graduates face in not knowing what's next, but it's okay. We'll take it one step at a time. This video is a lot more rambly because I did see a couple comments asking for longer videos. So if you like this, then I will be happy to do more. But I'm going to end this video off here and say thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, if you like me, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun jazz. And until then.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness.